Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the National Scripts and Real Estate Conversations. I'm Bernadette Hurley, your Thursday hostess and resident coach. Welcome. So today I want to talk, well, before we start, I wanted to share first a link that I'm going to put in the chat. As you know, welcome to the National Scripts and Real Estate Conversations. I'm Bernadette Hurley. All right, let me turn that off. Sorry. Putting a link in the chat. We've got group coaching starting in February to add on a third day. And this is for agents who are wanting to come on and start from the very beginning. That is for an AMA. It's an Ask Me Anything for Friday. I've got an AMA this Friday and then an AMA next Friday. So more information is on that link that I just put in the chat. So today we're going to talk about buyers and the expectation of what we're going to assume is going to happen once the interest rates come down and the spring market is in full force. We've spent some time between Chris and I talking about preparing our SOI with our calls at the beginning of the year to let them know that the interest rates are coming down. Now would be a good time to buy a home. Let's talk about the conversations we're going to have for the new book of business that we're going to create between now and when that happens, and the flurry of business that can come our way, and the expectation that we have as a real estate community about what's going to happen and how they need to be prepared as they prepare their offer. They start strategizing about their offer. What say you guys? We're anticipating that the interest rates are going to come down and that the buyers are going to come out and we're going to have multiple offer situations. Ronnie, good morning.
Good morning, Bernadette. Thank you so much. Good to see you. So I mentioned it on Early Birds this morning, and if you've never been
Recording in progress.
a buyer's agent, you probably weren't taught that for every 1% that the interest rate goes up, you lose 10% buying power. Well, guess what? The script now is, oh my God, do you realize the interest rate has dropped 2%? That means you have 20% more buying power. Now's the time to get out there with that 20% extra in buying power. When can we get together?
I love that. Thank you. Mark Benson, good morning.
If you're not meeting with someone and writing a contract today or negotiating an offer or closing a transaction, one of the things you may want to consider is to start previewing properties, becoming the market expert, so that when the market floods in and someone says, well, what about this property? Yes, that property's been on the market 223 days. I've seen it already, and I know that there's a foundation crack or something in the property, versus the ones that come new to the market. Those are the ones that if they're having an open house and you're not having an open house, go out and preview as many properties as you possibly can. You have the ability to schedule them or round robin them if you want to geographically and squeeze in as many as you can in an afternoon.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for that feedback. I mean, for your script. I'm going to open up the breakout rooms just to give us a little bit more time to role play. I think it's a script that everybody should start practicing because these are scripts that we're going to be using in the near future. I also put my email in the link. I'm B Hurley at evolverecoaching.com. Sorry about that link. I didn't test it this morning. Okay, so the breakout rooms are open. Take time to practice. Jump into a small group, jump into a larger group, whatever is convenient for you. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, please feel free to join us at scriptsjedi.club. That's how you have access to the link to the Zoom call, scriptsjedi.club. All right. So anybody else want to share their script?
Bernadette, can I quickly ask, what script are we practicing? Can you put it in the chat? Because I see people asking, and I'm asking
Yes, there
also.
is no script. It's just a conversation today. But the scenario is what's going to happen when the buyers start to show up, when interest rates come down a little bit more and the spring market is here. um, how do you prepare your buyer client for the market that they're going to experience? How do you prep them for a negotiation strategy? How do you prep them to be ready for something a little bit more competitive as we've experienced over the past few months?
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if somebody can put that in the chat for me, just the scenario, that would be great. Matt Cannon from El Paso. Good morning.
Hey Bernadette, have you ever been shopping the day after Thanksgiving?
Oh gosh, yeah. I'm a total shopper. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets crazy, right? You've seen photos of like Walmart and people waiting in line to get TVs and stuff like that. And then you see the people start getting invites and everything like that.
Yep.
You know what's funny about that is as the interest rates start to go down, all these buyers that have been waiting over the last couple of years, they're going to jump. They're going to get ready to go and they're going to start fighting over homes. Kind of like people fight over TVs, the day after Thanksgiving. I think it would make a lot of sense to get out there now, find something now and avoid the fight.
Love it. Well, I still think I'm gonna wait a little bit just because we're not ready. Not quite ready. I'm saving up a little bit more money for a down payment. And my lender said if I can pay down some of these credit cards, I'll have a better interest rate.
Yeah.
So is that
Okay.
okay if we wait?
Yeah, look, yeah, absolutely. So just so understanding correctly, Bernadette, you're thinking that you want to wait till the rates go down a little bit more and you want to save a little bit more money for the down payment. Is that it?
Yeah, it's a need versus a want. I'd love to jump in.
Yeah.
What can I expect? I mean, so I can, when I go shopping for Black Friday, I still win the TV.
Right. Bernadette, a lot of people are just like you. They like to kind of, make sure they have plenty of money and they're getting ready to be ready. And that's a good strategy a lot of times. Let me ask you, have you spoke with a lender recently to kind of see exactly what you're going to need when you're ready to purchase that home?
Yes, I have. And for me to qualify for a higher price, which is what I want, I've got to pay down some of my credit card debt.
Okay.
So I'm in the process of doing that.
Got it. You know what a lot of people find useful, Bernadette, when they're in a situation like you, to come into the office and sit down with us so we can kind of, strategize about what this next, 3 to 6 months is going to look like when you get that down payment amount. What's a good time for you to come down? Are you available during the week or would the weekend be better?
I'm available during the week.
Okay. What are you thinking? Like Thursday or would Friday be better?
Let's meet Friday.
Okay.
We
You
can
thinking
talk
morning
about it.
time or more like afternoon?
Morning. What do you
Okay.
have?
Got it. You thinking about, I think I have 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Either one would
Let's
work.
shoot for 11.
Perfect. Google Calendar invite, stuff like that.
All right. Thanks, Matt. Great role play. Thank you. Love it. Somebody else. Let's talk strategy. How do you talk about a strategy for somebody who has to sit and wait? What are they going to experience? Somebody share what it was like selling in 2021 and the buyers losing um the buyers losing their offers. How do we prepare them for possibly that type of market? Are you anticipating that type of market in your personal market?
Yes. Share stories from the various experiences you had in 21 and how and what the results were and how they can possibly avoid that.
Yeah. So what are some strategies? What are the stories going to tell us in terms of strategies for down payment, for offering over list price? Ask me questions about whether or not I'm prepared financially for that type, because there are some people that this type of market is going to price them out of the market. Somebody raised their hand and then they unraised it. I'd love to just have that conversation with you. Come back on, raise your hand.
That was me.
Oh,
I,
Jennifer.
I, this just makes me like sick to my stomach. I don't want to be back in that market again. I don't want to be back fighting, trying to like give up my liver or donate a kidney to win the house. And is anybody else like literally it's causing like PTSD. I think, oh my gosh, here we go again.
Well, I'm excited. Bring it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scared money don't make no money. Bring
it. Yeah.
You know, the lessons that we learned during that time period, we've got to carry forward into this next one. So we know more about how to go about winning in that sort of strategy than we did the last time. So just
I feel like so does everybody else. That's
no,
how I feel.
oh gosh, no, no,
Absolutely not.
No, my darling, not true. We know more.
I know. I learned so much more in 2020, 2021, how to negotiate a deal. This market don't scare me at all.
Well, the conversation I'm having is I'm trying to tell my buyers that they need to buy now because when the interest rates drop, the home sale prices are going to increase and it's going to cost them a lot more money to buy a house in 6 months than it is in the next 90 days. And then they can just refinance. And that's what I'm trying. I've made a video. I've got it out there. That's my message to my young buyers.
Jennifer, did you sell to somebody? Did you sell to somebody during that?
Oh, yes.
Mark, remember when James used to tell us that to go and possibly we could video someone who purchased during 21.
Yes.
And let them be the one to tell versus us telling. So they
one thing on that as well. Words are important and it's a small thing, but you said I'm telling them. Start saying to yourself, you're either educating or showing them instead of telling them. It'll come across differently.
Sometimes I show them because we still have like our spreadsheets from when we was making offers. So I still got my spreadsheet that shows like when we went over $20,000 over appraisal, when clients are offering how much thousands of dollars over asking price. So I show them all of that sometimes if need be.
Bernadette, you are muted.
Sorry, I've been sick and I'm coughing, so I try not to interrupt you guys that way. But Jennifer, I would probably say that it's really important to have a serious buyer consultation as we're approaching the busier market and laying out the strategy and determining whether or not they can compete in this market. I think we learned a lot from the last market that some of our buyers just couldn't compete. And that's where the frustration was we knew we weren't going to be able to find them a home because they were either limited with their finances and couldn't go over the asking price. And then making that selection of whether or not you want to work with them. And then passing that off if you don't have the stomach to do it again. You know, I don't want you to have PTSD. It's true. The market's going to change and it's going to come back in our favor and it's going to be raining, but we're going to have to work for that. We're going to fight for that. And it's all about the words that we choose. I love that comment, Terrence. You're either consulting them or you're showing them. Love it.
Bernadette, do you
yes.
remember I was just talking about this with an agent and she didn't even remember. She was like, I didn't know nothing about it. Do y'all remember like Ribbon? Ribbon was my best friend, baby. You bring that thing back around, I'm straight.
Yeah, you're a hustler. I know that, Everett. Good morning, Janet.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I think when we're chatting with them about the possibility of multiple offers, having that conversation early is really important. Sharing our stories that we have from 2021 is really important. And then letting them self-discover that perhaps a lower price point they will have more success in and can win and can get, stop renting or, be away from their now ex-husband. I've got two like that right now. And they're going to be at a low price point. So what can we do? What are the options? that they can afford. And then let's just make sure that we're looking at things that are less than what they can afford so that they'll win.
Yeah. And then convincing them that that's by waiting, this is the consequence. I mean, I know you wanted to buy this, but if financially, if you're not prepared, yeah, we're going to have to lower our list. Morning, Donna.
Good
Let's say-
morning. So memories from 2020, 2021. I had to learn this the hard way, but learn it I did. And I wrote it down. It says, sometimes in the face of real evidence and data, our clients don't make the correct decision right away.
Yeah.
But we're still there helping them through it till eventually, I mean, after 7 offers, I can't tell you how many of my clients said, well, this next house is the one we want. How do we win? I'm like, so you know exactly what we need to do. And sure enough, they would turn around and say, okay, so here's what we're going to, and they laid it all out. They had to face it. They had to learn. They had to get there, even though, yeah, every time we met, I was bringing them the data and the evidence. I was predicting the future. Some of them said, you were right. And now it's when they're ready, but you keep bringing the message. And you let them make the decision. They don't always make the right decision at first.
Bernadette, I mean, is that short term for basically you let them lose a whole bunch of offers before they got on your page?
Oh, so wait, hold on, hold the phone there. I didn't let them lose anything.
Yeah.
I explained to them exactly what we needed to do. Each time we lost, I also asked the agent, how did we lose? Why did we lose? How could we have made it better? Brought that information. I kept the learning going, till eventually they were like, okay, so I see what you're saying. Eventually they get there. Yeah. So some of them took forever and some of them got it, right away. It's up to each one, they're human beings. They learn at different paces. And for many of my clients, it wasn't that they didn't have the money. It's what they didn't want to spend the money. They had to get to the point where it's like, okay, so we don't go to Jamaica this year. Let's increase our offer. And I'm just using that as simple examples of letting people self-discover. Somebody else said that. And just hanging in there. It's not, there are times when I get a little sassy. I'm like, listen, so I have a house. This isn't about me. This is about you and what your next move is. So
at times.
Continual learning. Love it. And I do love that you continue to learn by asking those questions of the listing agent. All very important. All great feedback. Hala. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. As Donna, she said, we educate them and sometimes they don't listen to us. They have to make the decision. Like in 2022, I did 44 transactions. 32 of them, they were buyers and winning, which is great. And they may lose the first one, second one, and after that they learn. And there's a lot of strategy too from lenders. If anybody need lenders, there's some lenders, there's program with any Mac called cash to key, which is basically they give you cash to the key to open the house and buy it, and your offer will be cash, and it's all over United States, but you have to talk to the lender. They qualify the buyers first, then they qualify the property. But when they qualify the buyer first, it's much easy because 90% the property will be qualified. If the buyer lost their job for some reason, they buy it for them and they can resell it to them when they find a job. It's a little bit the process, but it's easy. I won this year. 2023, I did it to 25 transaction, which is 50-50 buyer, 50 seller, which is easier. But definitely we learned a lot from 21, 22, Jennifer, because all those, even people who done business for 40 years, we learned too many languages. We never know appraisal gap before. Nobody. We used to give everything the opposite: closing cost, credit, seller can fix, repair, everything to the buyer. And now this is different language. I think after now we are covered for many years in the business.
We've all officially learned. Yes. And
I
the name of that program.
Sorry, what did you say?
I didn't know what an escalation clause was at that time.
Yes, all of us, we didn't know.
Yeah. Thank you. And what was the name of that program, Hala? Cash for keys?
Cash to key.
Cash to key.
Yeah, and the offer will be 100% cash, so you can win. I closed this year, one of them already, and there's a lot of good programs. And really, we have to educate our buyers, and they have to choose. We cannot make the decision for them. We educate them, and they make. They lose maybe 7 times, as Donna said, maybe, but when they see the house, this is the house they don't want to lose.
Yep, perfect.
See, with Donna, I'm a little bit different on that aspect. I'll allow them, like if I have a pushback buyer or whatever, just give me pushback everything I'm suggesting to them, and they're just pushing me back because their mom told them about how to buy a house when they bought their house in 1998. What I just be like, okay, and I'll put the offer in. I'm not gonna argue or whatever. Like I'll do it down as we can get the feedback later on and tell them like why you lost your offer, and I'm not hiding it from them. So, but I would. Once they get about the fourth house, they usually on my page. They usually on the same team as me.
Exactly what I said, Everett. We said exactly the same thing. I love you. I said exactly the same thing.
But I just let them do what they want to do, Donna. Like I let them do it.
They're going to self-discover on their own. Yeah. Well, that's why Donna was saying they might lose some. Because she's following what they want to do. She's just delivering the data to them, and they're contradicting that decision and choosing to do their own. I think y'all are both saying the same thing. Yvonne, hi.
Yes. Hi, good morning, all. In this conversation, what comes to mind for me is that, and for the lady earlier on that's kind of very concerned about the market, it's not the same market as 2021. Those were 2% and 3% interest rates.
You're right.
Which was I'm here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it was an extremely aggressive market. We're going to have a strong market coming in this year. So what comes to mind for me is we as agents have to stay very positive. We have to have some strategies for ourselves. And I get these comments a lot from my clients and people that I meet at the open houses, because I said, it should be fun. Let's have a good experience. It's challenging. So we have to be ready, us as agents, and we have to have our strategies. One of the biggest strategy for me is the communication with the other agent. I'm constantly in communication with that listing agent, building rapport so they want to work with me. It's not always the highest offer. That's the key, an important key, but it's not always the only key. So let's stay positive. Let's be ready to help our clients. Let's be ready for our strategies. It's not the same market I'm sorry, forget the lady at the beginning who was really concerned. We're not in the 2% and 3%. We're in the low 6s. So just want to share that.
That's a good point. But you're also, theoretically, you've got people who have been able to sell for top dollar, and they're competing against buyers who are just starting to save their money as well. And I'm curious to find out how much over list price we're going to see when the money is not as free as it was back in the day in 21. But yeah, somebody else's thought on this.
Bernadette, my curiosity is, have anybody started to see what the new issue about the buyer paying the agent commission? Has anybody started to see that, how that would affect going into this market? So that's just a thought that
I've actually started role playing that with my script partner. I've actually started role playing that with my conversation partner because I am anticipating it's going to come up. And I've been talking to my buyers about the possibility that in the future, there might come to a home that we go see where the seller is not offering any type of professional fee to the buyer. And if that is to come up, basically, are they willing to work with me in different ways to make it so that, you know, I do get a professional fee in return for my services? So it is something I am working on, and I have been role playing with my conversation partner.
Love it. You feel ready?
He actually did. That actually sounded great, like how you said it. Cause that's how I said it to my buyer yesterday.
Okay, I love it. Do you want to share, Telly?
Oh goodness, you throw me on the spot. Okay, fine. So, sure.
Yeah,
I'll role play it with the buyer conversation.
I'm the buyer. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, all right, Everett. I'm stepping up to the plate. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So, Everett, after our conversation and explaining to you the entire buyer process of what is going to happen, how do you feel about everything that I have shown you?
I feel good about everything you showed me, Telly. The only thing that threw me off was about if we go to any home and the seller, because I was under the assumption that the seller pays the commission, correct?
My professional fee is usually paid by the seller. Yes, absolutely. That's how it has been. However, with recent times, there has been a couple concerns that have gone to court. I'm sure you've heard about it. Am I correct?
Yeah, heard about it.
Okay. Well, okay. What happened was a few people did not disclose how they actually are to get compensated for their services. That's what happened. And now as a result, there are opportunities where sellers can choose to not give a professional fee to a buyer agent. This is something that has happened recently. So I need to ask you, are you comfortable if by chance we were to see a home and a seller is not willing to pay for my professional fees? Are you willing to work with me to, whether it be by potential closing costs, concession, or by might actually have to come out of the final closing costs on your end? Do you need me to explain further?
Can you tell me? I'm a little confused.
Absolutely. I'm more than happy to, Everett. So what happens is this: at the closing, you are going to, with the help of the mortgage company, are going to bring a large chunk of money to the seller. Seller is going to take that money, and with the attorney and the agent, they're going to divvy it up for different costs and different things. You also have your closing costs with your attorney that I've talked to you a little bit about, and the attorney will elaborate further, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So what might end up happening is if the seller is not willing to pay a professional fee, then I'm going to, because my fee is X, whatever, might be, I'm going to ask you, are you comfortable paying out of your money for the closing cost? So this would be another closing cost for my professional fees for all of my services.
I'd be comfortable telling you.
You're comfortable?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Thanks for the role play,
so sign right
guys.
here and let's get started.
Thanks for the role play, guys. Just a comment. These are conversations that are going to come up. It will potentially come up. It should come up. Be cautious about identifying how they're baked into a sales price, how they were originally baked into the sales price. That is a co-brokering relationship where traditionally sellers have co-brokered and paid and compensated agents that way. So those are, again, great scripts to be role playing and practicing. Thanks, Telly, for bringing that up. Much appreciation to you. There was a hand that was up. Carlo, do you want to say something? No, Carlo. Tennille,
So, quick question. How would you negotiate if the seller's not going to pay nothing? How would you negotiate your commission in that deal?
That is another script. That's for another day.
I talked to my broker. Actually, I've had multiple conversations with my broker about this topic, and literally one of the major things that he has said is that if the seller is not going to pay and the buying agent is not willing to, then you can express it out there and say, well, then I'm going to ask with your permission that we look at houses that it's going to narrow the pool for houses that we are going to look for, because I am offering a professional service. I am a professional. I do handle my job to the top level of any other professional, and therefore I'm going to ask that we look at houses that will compensate for all of my services and my job, or not my job, my career, I should say. Now, and if they say, oh, well, and then you also put it back at them and say, listen, if by chance your mind changes, I'm more than happy to show you the houses where the seller is not offering a compensation or a professional charge, if it is the house for you. So you just leave the door open and don't close it.
And honestly, that was traditionally the script that should have taken place even before the lawsuit, by the way. And so I appreciate you bringing that up. That's a great follow-up. Last comment coming from Yanu.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for actually, I want to say thank you to Ronnie, because he's the one that actually opened this class to our market center. And also, I have a question, because as long as I've been in my business, I make my buyers, but I explain everything to them, and I give them the presentation, and I do have a buyer's broker's agreement. Now, how would I word it that they're agreeing to this and that they're willing to pay the commission on the broker's agreement?
That is a broker question. That's a broker question. So ask your broker.
Go back to my broker. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ask your broker. A lot of states have it already promulgated in that might have it already promulgated in. So talk to your broker about commissions. That's a state to state. All right, Lisa Perlman, you're welcome. Are you here today?
I'm here.
Hi, Lisa.
And hey, good to see you. You've received the inspiration. Now go put in the perspiration. Woo!
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Woo. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you all. Thanks for a great practice.
Sure.
Everett, awesome job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bernadette.
Thanks, Denise.
Have a successful day.
Thanks, Bernadette.